Hey guys, welcome back to a new episode of the Another Excuse podcast with me, your host Byron Greeley. In each episode, we usually have conversations with founders, creatives, and self-starters about how they started and where they are now. In today's New Year's episode, I'm going to discuss ways to plan for the new year to help you achieve your goals and feel more fulfilled, as well as chat about figuring out what works for you rather than feeling like nothing is working. I'm going to speak from my experience and hopefully you find it useful. Happy New Year and let's make 2024 a year to remember. Enjoy the show. So the main thing that I want to talk about today is finding what works for you. It's a new year, and so most people have done some sort of reflecting and want to start a new year on the right foot. Some goals could be audacious and nerve-wracking, and others could be small and attainable. But the point is whether it's the right way to approach it for you. Two people I look up to who create really great content on the topic, Chris Williamson and Ali Abdaal, had a conversation about this, and it caused me to reflect. There are so many influencers, content creators, gurus online that have their unique way of doing things. It works for them, but just because they've achieved success that way doesn't mean it'll exactly work for you. It can be overwhelming. We want to succeed and do our best, but if we listened to everyone, we'd probably be worse off than actually making any progress at all. I mean, think of David Goggins. He has a very extreme approach to working hard and achieving your goals. His no-quit approach to motivation works for a fraction of people. But if it doesn't work for you, it can have the opposite effect. You can feel inferior or even like a failure because you aren't able to replicate his drive and discipline. I think the key to this information overload is to try each of these approaches and just take the parts that stick. Yes, these people have seen success, so there's some truth to their methods, but taking each bit that works for you and sticking to it is all you can do. Before we move on, I want to emphasize the sticking to it bit. That's usually the part people fail at, and it's the part that we have the most control over. We don't have control over whether an approach really works for us, but we do have control over giving it a proper go and deciding whether it's the right thing. I've committed to a few different things over the years to figure out if it's something I really want to do. Whether that's writing and publishing once a week, releasing a podcast episode once a week, or even posting 3 photos on Instagram every week. I set these mini scheduled goals with a long-term assessment. What I mean by long-term assessment is I'd commit to these goals for an extended period of time, usually at least 6 months, and then decide whether it was for me or not. By committing to something long-term, it takes the questioning out of everything. You just chug along, staying consistent, and you begin to get in a flow. You start to realize the things you like and the things you don't. And after 6 months, you keep doing the things you like and you drop the rest. If you have to do the things that you don't like to get the things that you do like done, maybe you can hire someone or automate it somehow. But just like the methods from those who are experienced, you take what works and you drop the rest. It doesn't work if you don't try for long enough. The consistency muscle is the important part of all of this. Quick interruption from me. The podcast has been growing and I'm really, really happy and really, really proud. But none of that would have been possible without your support. So I really thank you for that. And if I could just ask if you could continue your support and follow the podcast on your podcast listening app or subscribe to the YouTube channel and like or comment on the video. These little actions mean a lot and really help with the growth. So thanks in advance. Thank you for doing that and thank you for your continued support. I really appreciate it. Back to the episode. Sometimes it's going to be tough when you first start. And it's going to be tough to push through, but pushing through that beginning bit is so important. So much better to confidently say that something is not for you rather than wondering what if because you never gave it a proper shot. Or even worse, you never started in the first place. Like I said, I've tried many things and stopped quite a few of them. But because I gave them a proper shot, I'm confident that they weren't for me. And like the podcast, I've done it for more than 6 months now, and I haven't stopped. There are parts that I will delegate or automate at the earliest opportunity, but I definitely won't stop. Applying consistency to other aspects of my life has become a lot easier, and I feel like I'm only just getting the hang of it. So if I could give any advice as a person who's just figuring it out as I go, it would be to start that thing you've been thinking about. Commit to it for 3 to 6 months and do it as regularly as possible in that period. Only assess how you feel and whether you want to continue after that period is over. Flex the consistency muscle. I think this year is going to be a great year for many people. AI and other tools and developments have enabled many people to take that leap with the support that they never had before. I think people are going to feel comfortable in taking a few more risks, and they're going to be able to start that thing that they've been putting off, or actually create that project or business that they never thought they'd be able to create on their own. I think this is going to be a very exciting time. There are so many pieces of good content out there to plan for the new year, to goal set, and to start the year on the right foot. And if you're listening to this, I'm sure you're also interested in those type of videos. They're very easy to find, and some very successful creators have created content and provided tools for us to start the year the right way. And so I've added some resources to the description below. I mentioned Chris Williamson and Ali Abdaal earlier, and they've both created or provided tools and resources to help you start the year the right way. And so I put links to that in the description below. I hope this short and to-the-point episode was helpful, and I wish you all a successful and powerful 2024. Let me know what that thing is that you plan to start in 2024, and I'll hold you accountable. No, seriously. Either email me at byron@anotherexcuse.xyz or comment below. Have a great year, and I'll see you next week. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening. I really appreciate you making it all the way to the end. I hope you enjoyed the episode. One more quick reminder before you go. I have a weekly newsletter by the same name, Another Excuse, where I cover 4 topics: something that has changed my perception, a tool that could be useful to you, content that is actually worth consuming, and a concept that I try break down and explain. If this sounds of any interest to you and you need a kick up the arse, then you can subscribe at the link below. Thanks for joining me again, and I'll see you next week.